Hello, welcome to the lesson. So we're going to learn Layla by Eric Clapton, the original electric version, because you know there's two versions. He released an acoustic version in the 90s, but we're going to learn the original today. And I love this song. This is one of the original pieces that inspired me to want to be a guitarist, to play electric guitar. It was Layla and also Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. Those two songs, those two guitar riffs are really what got me excited about playing. So let me demonstrate now what I'm going to show you today. Okay, it sounds wicked, doesn't it? And I'm also going to show you the lead part, which sounds like this. All right, and as well as that, I'm going to show you the chords in the verse. So I'm going to take the distortion off whilst playing the chords, just so you can hear it a little bit easier. Goes back into that riff again. Okay, so let's begin. So yeah, when you eventually play this, you will want the distortion on your amp. You know, there's a little knob called gain and you can turn it up, or there might be a switch on your amp, a button that's called overdrive or distortion or something like that. But whilst I'm showing it to you, I'm just going to use a clean sound, so because we don't want it to sound too messy whilst we're learning it. So what I want you to do is pluck the 5th string open and hammer on to fret 3 with your first finger. And of course, you already know what hammers are because we learned that in the free 12-part course. So if you don't already know that, I suggest you go back and have a look and just refresh your memory. And now what we're going to do is pluck the 4th string open and we're going to hammer on to fret 3 on the 4th string, but we're going to pull off as well, like this. So it's just one pluck and a hammer and a pull off. Good. So when we put both those parts together, it looks like this. Okay, now I want you to play the 5th string at fret 3 and then finish with the 4th string open. So when we join it together, it sounds like this. Good. Brilliant. So the next thing I want you to do is to play a power chord with your first finger on the 5th string at fret 5. That's a D note, just in case you're wondering. And then the other finger, remember, goes on the 4th string at fret 7. Remember, all power chords look like this with these two fingers. So you're going to use your plectrum to pluck strings 5 and 4. And then what you're going to do is slide the power chord down to fret 3, like this. Okay, now that might take a bit of practice. It's easier said than done. And then you're going to move your power chord down, so the first finger's now on fret 1 and the other finger's on fret 3. But you're just going to pluck it on its own separately. So just to clarify, we've got a slide from fret 5 to 3, and then you're going to play it at fret 1. And then what I want you to do is just play the 5th string open and then the 6th string at fret 3. Okay, so let me just demonstrate that. And then what I want you to do is play the power chord on the 5th string at fret 3 again, here. And now you play the 5th string open and the 6th string at fret 3 again. And then we finish on the power chord back up at fret 5. Okay, so let me just demonstrate that so it's clear. Okay, brilliant. Now I'll join that to the previous part. So what we've got is this. Now obviously the full speed is pretty quick. Okay, so you're going to have to work up to that. You know, it'll take you a good few weeks of practice really to get it sounding tight. Okay, great. So next I'd like to show you the lead part. So if you hold down the 2nd string at fret 10, and I want you to pluck and hammer a finger onto fret 13 on the second string like this. And then you're going to do the same on the first string, but you're going to pull off. So you got fret 10, hammer to 13 and pull off. And then you're going to go back to the second string at fret 13, and then the first string at 10. So let me just demonstrate that. Okay, good. So now what you do is use the first string at fret 13, and we're going to bend the note like this. Right, okay. Now you'll notice I'm using 3 fingers here to help push, but the one that is holding the note is this finger on fret 13. But all the fingers are on the same string, and we're going to bend, and we're going to pluck and bring the note back down. So we got up, and then pluck back, you know, with no bend. And then you're going to step down onto the first string at fret 12. And then you're going to step across onto the second string at fret 13. And then finish up on the first string at fret 10. So that'll look like this. So when we join it together, we get this. Okay, very good. Now it does it again, but with a slight variation. So this time you're going to start the same as before with the hammer and the pull off, and then fret 13, and then there. But this time, instead of bending fret 13, I'm going to ask you to bend fret 15 on the first string, and back down to fret 15, step off to fret 12, second string at fret 13, and finish up on fret 10 on the first string. So the only real difference there is the fact that we're bending there the first time and then up at fret 15 the second time. So let me just demonstrate those 2 parts to you. And then okay, so that's the lead part. Now I want you to remember, on the original recording, there's lots of guitar parts. There were several guitarists as well as Eric Clapton, all layering different guitar parts on top of each other. So if you listen to it, there's all sorts of different things going on, and really it's impossible to play it all on one guitar at once. Okay, so what we do is just do the best that we can, and and play whatever part is appropriate. So what we need to do here is actually bar chords. Now, if you think back to the 12-part free course that you did, one of those lessons that I gave you was teaching you how to play bar chords. So I assume that you've already had a go at that, and that you've practiced holding down all these strings with one finger barring across them all. If not, I suggest you go and just recap over that. It's a free lesson, so you might as well. So what I want you to do is put a bar across 5 strings on fret 4. Because with this chord we're not actually going to use the 6th string. Now I want you to use your middle finger to hold down the 2nd string, which is fret 5, and then these 2 fingers go onto the 4th string and the 3rd string, both at fret 6. Now this chord occupies 1 bar, which is 4 beats effectively, so I'm going to ask you to strum 4 times. And you'll notice I was strumming 5 strings and not the top ones, and that was a C sharp minor chord. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is keep your bar at fret 4, but this time we're going to cover all the strings and we're going to play a G sharp minor. And what that means is we're using just these 2 fingers to hold down the 5th string and the 4th string at fret 6. And you're going to strum 4 times on this, using all the strings this time. Okay, very good. And once you've done that, you're going to go back to the C sharp minor, which is the one we started with. Okay, so the bar is still at fret 4, the middle finger is on now on the 2nd string, and those 2 fingers on the 4th and 3rd string. Okay, just take a second to look at the chord chart next to me and make sure you got the fingers in place. And you're going to strum twice. Very good. Now what I want you to do is move your bar down to fret 3, and we're going to use a mini bar. And what I mean by that is this finger is holding down the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string at fret 5, and with this finger all we really want is for it to hold down the 5th string at fret 3. So you're going to strum from the 5th string, and that's a C chord. Now you're going to move that shape up, so the bar is at fret 5, the mini bar is at fret 7 now. Now, I just want to take a second to make sure you've got this shape right, okay? This bar should be holding down the 5th string there, and this one should be covering the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and we're not really using the 1st string, but make sure this finger is not touching the 5th string. It's very important. You're going to pluck that one, and then you're going to move it up 2 more frets, so you're now at fret 7 with the bar. And you're going to pluck it 4 times. So let me just demonstrate that. Okay, very good. So let's move on, and then in a second I'll play through the whole thing. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is an F sharp minor, and that's the bar at fret 2 with the 2 fingers and no middle finger. So we got the 5th string here and the 4th string at fret 4. And I'm going to ask you to strum all the strings twice. And now you're going to keep your bar at fret 2, but we're going to move to a B. So this finger's holding down the 5th string, and same as before, this is a mini bar across strings 4, 3 and 2. So I'm strumming 5 strings twice, and then an E chord. Now of course you know an E chord because we learned that in the free 12-part course. So you can strum the E chord twice, and then you can play an A chord. Now, we did already learn an A as well, like this, but the way I'm going to ask you to do it today is by using your 1st finger, just to lay it across strings 4, 3 and 2 at fret 2. And we're going to pluck from the 5th string, because the 5th string's open, if you remember. And then reach across with this finger onto the 6th string at fret 4, and just give it a pluck. So it should sound like this. Okay, all right. It'll all become clear once I demonstrate the whole thing all the way through. It's just the last few chords now. So we're onto the F sharp minor again, which is this one, for 2 strums, and then the B again, and then strum an E chord, and then an A chord. Okay, so let me demonstrate that all the way through. C sharp minor, 4 strums. G sharp minor, 2 strums. Back to C sharp minor for 2. C, D, and that's an E. And now we've got F sharp minor, B, E, A, F sharp minor and E, and then E, and then A. And at that point, you can go back into the main riff of the song, etc. Okay, so what I'll attempt to do now is just to play all of that at full speed, so you can really get a feel for it, so you can, you can see what you need to be working towards. So I'm going to start on the riff, then go into the verse chords, then I'll play the lead part. So here goes. Off, and the song continues and continues. So it's a wicked piece, and of course the song ends with a whole piano section, but obviously we're not going to learn that in this lesson. So enjoy this one, go away and work on it, and those hammers are quite tough. That's the bit that people take the longest really to learn. So make sure you're getting it right. If you need to rewind the video and really examine what I said on that bit, I suggest you do that, because you don't want to get into bad habits and practice something incorrectly. And also obviously print out the PDF document that you downloaded with the lesson, and you can have it next to you and you can read the tab whilst you're practicing on your own. So thanks for coming to join me in the lesson. Good luck with Layla, and I really look forward to seeing you soon in one of the other lessons. Okay, bye bye.